Hiya, welcome back to our latest video where we're going to be talking about actual payroll projects, what goes into them, what you do in them, and how you can make yours successful. So hopefully you enjoy this video and learn a thing or two.
What is a payroll project?
So a payroll project can be any one of a number of things. It could be that you have, or your business has purchased another business or is selling part of its business and either adding or removing new employees to your payroll system. It could be that you're actually changing payroll systems altogether. Maybe the current system doesn't work for you any longer. You're having to do too many workarounds, or maybe you've outgrown the payroll system. And the last major one is that you're considering moving from an in-house payroll to outsourcing, or vice versa, where you're actually considering moving from an outsourcing model, taking your payroll back to in-house. So it's basically running the project to make sure that any changes to the payroll system are done with high quality and they're done on time to make sure that there's no disruption to your employees' pay.
Can you share with us the different phases of a project?
There are generally 5 phases to a payroll project. Payroll projects are not too dissimilar from other projects in their format. For payroll projects, they're very similar to other system implementations. So you will have a requirements phase where you gather all the requirements for your system. So for a payroll project, this would be all your payroll policies, or your HR policies, or your overtime, things like that. We then have a playback phase where the company that is building your payroll system for you will play back the requirements to make sure that they have understood them. The third phase will then be the build, and this is self-evident. The company doing the build for you will build the system from the ground up to make sure that your requirements are all put into it. The fourth phase will then be testing, so that's to test to make sure that the requirements have been built correctly and that the system is working as per your policies. And then the last one is the go live and hypercare. So this is the phase where we do the data migration cutover to go live. And we also have, generally we have hypercare, which is 2 months after go live. The project team sits alongside the business as usual operations team to ensure that if there are any issues, the project team can support as quickly as possible.
How does payroll project differ from other projects, from other type of projects?
So, in the framework itself, it doesn't differ a huge amount from the implementation of other types of systems. There are still 5 phases, and the 5 phases are fairly constant. It differs massively from something like an infrastructure or a construction project. I'm a great project manager, but I wouldn't start to think that I could actually go and run a construction project. And that comes down to the fact that I don't have the expertise in the area. So the main thing that really differentiates a payroll project from any other is that as a project manager or a workstream lead on a project, you really need to have a really good in-depth understanding of payroll. Otherwise, you won't be able to support the project as well as somebody with less experience.
What do you think are the most daunting parts of a payroll project for someone new to them?
So the first one might be quite obvious to me, but the first one is that you're changing a system which is responsible for ensuring the employees of your business is paid correctly. That is an absolutely huge responsibility, because if the new system goes in and it does not work correctly, employees won't get paid correctly, the morale of the company will go down, people will start to leave, and it's just a very, very daunting thing when you first come to a payroll project. The realization that if it goes wrong, it will affect hundreds, if not thousands of people, depending on the size of your business. The next thing that's quite daunting is the huge amount of work. There is a lot of work all the way through for a company who is changing their system. About the only phase where there's not a huge amount of work is the build phase, and that's done by your system implementer. But the requirements phase, the playback phase, the testing phase, and the go live and hypercare phase is all very labour intensive. Getting the requirements right is also quite daunting if it's something that you've never done before, because you'll want to get all the requirements right first time. If it helps, take it easy on yourself. I've not done a project yet where the requirements have been given 100% correct first time of asking. It's always a bit of to and fro, but it can be quite daunting. And then the last one is some of the tasks. If you're not experienced in payroll projects, some of the tasks that you'll be asked to do during the project will be very uncommon to you and won't have been done in your normal payroll processing. So those things can be a little bit daunting.
Tips for a successful payroll project.
So I'll give you 3 of them: data, data, and data. It cannot be understated how important data is for a payroll project. In my experience, and I've done quite a few of these payroll projects now. I know I look very young, but I've done quite a few nonetheless. Data is always a sticking point for a payroll project. More often than not, when you have a HR system that is not linked directly to your payroll system, the data in the HR system is not always as up to date as it could be, and so a whole data cleansing exercise needs to be done. If that's not done before the payroll project, it can cause a huge amount of issues. Other than data, the other 2 key tips are experience. Having somebody experienced in payroll projects can be really useful and can help drive your project forward. The last one is resources. Having to do a payroll project generally means that somebody within your payroll team at the moment will have to work on the project, and if they're working on the project and they've got their business as usual work to do, it means that they could be working 24 hours a day. So having enough resources really does help.
Lack of experience, part of the reason that made you set up your own consultancy.
Yeah, so we've done a YouTube video on this already as to why I set up the consultancy, but in a nutshell, yes. Whilst I was working in the outsourcing world, I realised that the most successful projects were the ones where our clients had experience in doing payroll projects before. They had the knowledge of what needs to be done, they knew what tasks were carried out, and it was really useful. So again, lack of experience can be a hindrance to your payroll project, but that's, I suppose, where we guys come in, and we can support you if you need it.
So if they need you, how can they reach you?
So there's 3 main ways. Number 1 is via the contact form on our website, which you can find just up here. Also, you can drop us an email, which would be found just up here. And then you can also reach us on any of our social channels. So we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and Threads. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. We're going to be recording some more videos going in depth, more into the other phases of the project. So you get a real insight to all of the phases and not just this high level overview. Thanks for watching. I hope you join us for more videos.